Hello again, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Paper Straw Podcast. I'll be your host for today, Christian Tejaras, and with me are my co-hosts, Christopher Anthony Short and Ian Joseph Rignon. I've said your name full again. So how are you guys?
Yeah, we're good. But what's really wrong with you, Christian? That's the second time you're doing that.
I mentioned my name in full, guys, from the start. I think it would just be fair if I mentioned yours.
I guess. I guess that's fair.
So how have you guys been over the weekend?
Yeah, not bad. Had a pretty good day yesterday. We went to Texas Roadhouse.
Does it remind you so much of home?
It does. Got a fat ass baked potato. That shit was so good.
Yeah, you've been here in the Philippines. Do you have any recommendations regarding steakhouses that you feel are really close to home?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, Texas Roadhouse definitely. TGI Fridays, if that's your vibe.
Speaking of, I understand that they have filed for bankruptcy back in the US, so I'm not sure about their operations here in the Philippines because I understand they're part of the Vista group, so I don't know if it gets affected by the bankruptcy.
Okay, so this happened. We actually talked about this the other day, yesterday. Toys R Us went bankrupt in the U.S. a few years ago.
Yeah, we
But
still have them here.
Yeah, but it still operates here, so I don't know if that's along the same lines or not. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
It works a bit different, right, in every country. I guess bankruptcy being filed in the US, would that definitely affect any branches they have in other countries?
I don't think so. I think.
I've always
I mean,
wondered that.
you see, like here, like in the Philippines, like FUBU is still popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's worn FUBU in the U.S. since like 2004, probably.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So I don't know exactly how that international brand.
I guess every country that's not the US are stuck in some sort of decade that they're in, right? There's this
Yeah.
joke that Canada is always stuck in the 90s. Even though
Speaking
it's
of
the
Canada,
2000s.
have y'all seen these viral little interviews with people from Toronto, and they're like, the Toronto accent is gaining I'm not going to say popularity because that's the worst accent I've ever heard in my life, bro, and I'm from the deep dark hills of eastern Kentucky.
I think Australia would
you
actually
You actually
understand.
mean, yeah, I guess you actually mean notoriety, Chris.
Yeah, it's something.
I mean, how bad is it?
It's fucking terrible. All right, hold up. I'll let y'all hear it. Toronto accent.
I guess it's much better than not having one. Like, accents actually give you personality and
I don't
identities.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, it's not having that much accent is actually just basically you speaking in monotone like this one.
Everything's fucking TikTok. Just go ahead and open.
While we're waiting.
Yeah. It's,
um,
like I said, some countries are actually stuck in some different time era. Like, it's not even about the entirety of, like, for fashion. It's also in the sense of music, right?
yeah.
Like, even the Philippines, our hip hop here is still stuck in the 90s, which is actually thankfully good.
Mhm.
Some
It's
hints of the 2000s.
I guess it's the quality is very
Yeah, it's the good quality that's stuck with us. So that's why I'm happy that I'm blessed in the country Canada still has good music.
Sam, if you're from the hood, Sam, I don't want no hood, no, but no, I'm not.
Could it be, Chris, that Toronto accent has seen a resurgence because of the Drake stuff? Because that's the only time I actually heard about a Toronto accent during the Kendrick and Drake beef.
Right here. This is
Part of Toronto. Low key, what's the worst part of Toronto? Low key, I gotta say Brampton still. All the caddies there, they're all short and ugly. There's so many crackheads, and it smells like shit, fam. Sure to God, I went there one day, I seen a guy shit on the floor. He took off his pants like this, he just like this. What's the worst part of Toronto? Low key, I gotta say Brampton still.
I literally could not listen to somebody speak like that for any considerable amount of time.
It sounds like a Jamaican having a stroke.
It's and it's very.
Yeah.
I tell you what, fam,
Not
it's
even-
all up in the nose area.
Yeah, it's not even a Jamaican to begin with. I mean, that's
That's why I said it sounds like a Jamaican having a stroke.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
No offense to the Jamaicans out there. Your accent and the way that you speak is much better than the one that we have listened.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's been coming across my news feed lately, and it's like I listen to them, but it's kind of just out of like a exploratory type thing, where it's like, what is exactly
Like,
happening?
do a majority of the celebrities that come from Toronto, can we hear that accent from them? I figured not, right?
Well, who do you have? Drake?
Drake doesn't even speak that way. That's why people actually just lately found that he was from Canada.
And the only thing that I know is, a general Canadian accent is the way that they say out, or O-U-T, or out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
about-
basically just the stereotype of the boot. The one
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
sell the boot.
Sorry, the way they say sorry.
Louis.
Yeah, sorry too. Yeah,
A, they say A after a lot of stuff.
yeah, of course.
It's cold, eh? It's like what?
Just found out about that stereotype because of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really?
Not How I Met Your Canadian. Like,
Hmm.
there's a lot of Filipinos in Canada because of the migration back in the 90s, but I never actually heard Filipinos actually coming back with that kind of accent. Like,
Yeah, it's I guess it's I don't know. I don't say Irish or
could
Scottish.
it be the French influence? That's why they talk that way. Like,
Maybe.
No, Toronto's on the other side from the French side.
which is Toronto is on the French side.
No, Quebec, all that's on the French side.
Yeah,
Toronto's
Quebec is,
over above
French.
above California.
That's
I don't
weird
even get their
because-
slang.
Yeah.
Like when you say
Yeah.
you're cheesing, fam, like it sounds
The
so.
hell?
It sounds so. No pun intended, cheesy. Like,
It's
I don't even think it's cheesy. It's cringe.
it's the young slang though, right? It's not. I don't think most older Canadians speak that way. It's
Older-
that.
older slang sounds cool. This one sounds like something so cartoonish.
It's so high pitched and nasally.
Hmm. I kind of understand how that accent is, but I'd
Southern
rather.
accents is actually sound so fun. I've had that impression for so long that the southern
what?
accent, a
Oh, the southern?
accent sounds
Southern
so
accent.
much fun no matter how. No matter what you mean when you say things. Like,
Actually, let's see. Hold up. I want to ask y'all some questions.
Hey, now we're talking.
Um,
like everyone knows the Filipino accent is being made fun of and parodied over the years now. Because we switch our P's with our F's and our what else? B's with our
Our
V.
B's with our B's.
okay, here we go.
At least you still understand what we're saying.
Exactly.
Pop quiz time, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So, what do you think? Like, if somebody says, primarily women say this, if they say, "Oh, well, bless your heart,"
Hmm?
Bless your heart.
yeah,
Bless your heart. That's good for you, right?
yeah. Mm, that's the
Yeah.
thing. In context, like for example, um,
It's
if you
either
was
bless your heart or poor you.
like me with this thing here a minute ago, where like I cut my finger and it wasn't in the right, like something's I got to do it better, mommy. Yeah.
I only
But
hear the context regarding that when it's being spoken as sarcasm.
yeah, it can be sarcastic. Yeah, where it's like
Yeah.
I couldn't finish because I cut my finger in it. Well, bless your heart. It just means like, oh, you are
Dumb.
not, yeah, like you're yeah, it's a waste of your time.
Although authentic, those people who authentically say that, um, maybe maybe that's their way of thanking. That's how I
No,
understand it.
those people that say that are my people.
Yeah.
Like, trust me. Yeah, I'm from.
First heard
I'm
that from Gone
from.
with the Wind.
Well, yeah, that's a little older.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's more of a.
that's a classic, dude.
Yeah, that's more of a colonial times, old Southern.
Yeah.
But like if somebody's like we say things like he's all hat and no cattle.
All hat, no cattle.
Yeah.
A poser?
Kinda. Someone who talks big but doesn't have the means or substance to back it
Yeah.
up. Like
Oh, I
yeah.
see.
Yeah, a poser.
Yeah.
It's just like all bark no bite, but
It's about being a cowboy, right? But can't actually
Yeah.
wrangle.
yeah.
So what if I describe someone as being madder than a wet hen?
Madder than a wet hen.
Yeah.
Wet hand.
Irritated?
Well, it just means they're really angry. Yeah, really angry.
They're pissed.
What if I said, ah, that dog won't hunt?
What?
What now?
Okay, so I've been saying these in a basic English, but if I drop back down into my Kentucky accent for this episode, it might be like I'm speaking a different language. Actually, I think I will for this.
I think you should.
I think I will for this here exercise. I think I will.
Yeah.
I can't even comprehend how you can switch accents. Then again,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
without being
Okay.
British, by the way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Of
British are
course.
so good with accents.
But all right. But if I was to say that dog won't hunt, what do you think that means?
No
Damn,
one.
you lost me there, and I feel like I'm the one who's more attuned to your
Yeah.
diction.
It just means that something won't work or it ain't a good idea.
Can you
Like
repeat that again?
like it just means that something won't work or it ain't a good idea.
Hmm.
Like if I said let's say for example the car broke down and we stranded and we want to walk way over yonder to get wherever it is we're trying to go to. If I was to say, if you said, well, I guess we could probably skip and go over there, I'd say, that dog won't hunt. I mean, that's not a good idea. Like,
Oh,
it's just
that
not.
won't work.
Yeah, like a dog
That
is supposed to hunt. So anything that don't do what it's supposed to, we kind of like, kind of put that name on there, or we use that saying.
It's basically a colorful way of saying just don't even think about it.
Yeah. Well, most of these, I mean, that's the thing. Like being from the South, a lot of the way we speak is just colorful.
That's why I said your accent is actually the most fun to actually listen to. Like even if you're sounding negative, it seems to be more fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like you can get cussed out. You can get cussed out down south, and if you're not from there, you think it's funny, but they be madder than hell for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like we say a lot, like I'm fixing to.
Like Jesus Christ, the context of squeal like a pig seems fun, but it means differently for some
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. You would think somebody saying you got a pretty mouth is a compliment.
No, you run the other way.
Yeah, that's not a that ain't no compliment at all. One of my favorites though is can't never could.
Can't never could.
Can't never could.
Ain't never
Yeah, it's the
could.
same thing with what they teach you in call centers. Like, don't ever say ain't because ain't a word,
Ain't is a word.
right?
It's in the dictionary.
Well,
But
yeah.
can't never could. Can't never could is kind of a motivational phrase. Like, it's like, I can't make it. Well, can't never could.
Oh, I
Basically
get.
just means it's a way
Never
of,
could.
yeah, it's a way of saying that if you think you can't do something, then you will never succeed.
Mm.
Because can't, never could.
Yeah.
It's an adage more than
That's a good one, ain't it? That's a good one.
more than a statement.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
It
Now,
makes sense. It makes sense.
here in Cavite, even yesterday, last
Okay.
night I guess it was.
Yeah.
I would say it was for sure raining, or what is it? Yeah, it's raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock.
That's how you. That's how you say it's raining hard.
That's so fucking graphic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess maybe this one's a more popular one that probably everybody's heard all over the world is hold your horses.
Yeah. Hold your horses is
Yeah.
familiar term.
Pretty much
There's
don't be
a-
impulsive.
There's two or three. You're barking up the wrong tree. Y'all know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
familiar.
If the creek don't rise,
That sounds familiar to me. I
Does
can't
it-
remember
does
what
it-
it means.
Does it? Is it similar to when the river runs dry?
no, no. This is like I'd say maybe you ask me, let's for your birthday for example, right?
Mhm.
Like I would say, yeah, I'll be there if the creek don't rise. As in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay. Oh,
if
I
the
get
creek,
it.
like if the road floods, then I obviously ain't gonna be there.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
So,
in a
yeah,
literal sense or is it a
No,
metaphor?
it's more of a we just
is it something like when I'm free or something? If I have the
it's
chance.
just it means like if
Turns out-
all goes as planned,
I see.
Everything goes
Yeah.
to plan. Yeah.
or unless something
makes
unexpected.
sense.
Yeah, unless something
makes
unexpected
sense.
happens. I'll be there if the creek, as long as the creek don't rise.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Might could.
My what?
Might could. Let's see. Hold on. I have to wait. Let me drop this Kentucky accent. Might could.
Might could.
I could.
Yeah. We
It
say
sounds
might.
like something the Australians would do when it comes to yeah, no, yeah. Like
Yeah. No. Yeah.
you don't even know if
I
you're
say
gonna be
that.
saying yes or no.
Yeah.
If
I
you're
say
Australian, you
yeah.
would
No.
know.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
no, yeah.
Might could. So we don't in Kentucky. We don't say might. No, we say might.
Ma. Okay.
Might. Yeah. We might could.
Something like that.
Yeah. You gonna come over for my birthday? Well, I might could. If I got enough money or if the creek don't rise.
Damn,
Okay.
that's a combo.
Yeah. 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 He's got two. I don't know if y'all ever heard anybody call the word. You ever heard the word britches?
Yeah, britches.
Okay. Yeah. He's too big for his britches.
Breaches. Yeah. Breaches. Yeah.
He's too confident. He's too big. He got too big. That boy got too big for his britches.
Yeah, he overshot.
Yeah. But I think my favorite on this list is probably this last one. It means there's a lot of something. So let me see. Let's say, for example, somebody got a lot of, I don't know, let's say they got a lot of pets. Then you'd say, that man got more pets than you can shake a stick at.
Mm.
Like it's so many, you can't shake a stick at all of them. There's just too
You got
yeah,
a
it's
lot
more
of,
like
in terms of numbers, you got a lot of colorful ways to actually describe an amount of something, right?
yeah,
Like you can't swing a dead cat here without hitting. Like
yeah,
instead of just saying there's a lot of people here.
yeah, yeah. Couldn't swing a
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's similar when it
That's
comes
crazy.
to
That's a crazy saying, Wayne.
Yeah,
Couldn't swing a
Or
dude.
even
doesn't mean
needle in
it's
a
true.
haystack.
Doesn't mean
Even
it's
needle in
true.
a haystack. You know.
Yeah. But I mean, we also change words. I'm gonna steal some old comedy sketches here. See if y'all familiar with these. Like you know the word aorta.
Aorta. Yeah.
What is aorta?
It's part of the heart.
Basically, yeah,
Part of the heart. Yeah.
one of the largest blood vessels.
In Kentucky, aorta is like, let's say you waiting on somebody, right? They ought to be here by 3.
They
Oh.
ought to be here by 3.
Yeah, aorta. They ought to be here by 3. Or what about mayonnaise?
Yeah, we know mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Man,
mayonnaise.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for us, you might say, you go into a room or something, you say, man, there's a lot of people in here.
Man, there's a lot of people.
Man, there's a lot of
Okay, now I get it.
Okay.
Those are certain. Yeah, thanks for that redneck tutorial, Chris. It doesn't involve trucks, so.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of rednecks, dude, like I've been curious about this since, and I know the election actually just ended, but
Yeah.
I still can't help but think. Do you think Do you think Travis Kelsey voted for Trump?
Yeah.
He did, right? He must.
I feel like I guess I can turn off the Kentucky accent now. I feel like people that understand hard work and dedication, I feel like they vote more these days, especially in this most recent election. They vote more Republican.
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
thing is, Travis Kelsey is affiliated to Taylor Swift. I mean, they're
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ,
their
can you
relationship,
imagine the
but-
conversation after that election with them?
Oh, I don't even.
I would almost
I won't
guarantee.
even imagine.
I would almost guarantee you Taylor Swift voted for Donald Trump too.
You think? After all,
Bro,
after
who
all
don't-
that promotion?
Who don't want? I'd be surprised if she voted at all, to tell you the truth. But who don't want? See, you let me slip. You let me slip into that Kentucky accent. It's hard to shake it now.
Let
Who-
your wings, let your wings run free, fly.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like? Who doesn't want a strong and stable economy, especially somebody whose livelihood depends on people having extra money for concert tickets?
Yeah, I guess don't hire security against Donald Trump if you want to save money. Like, if you're that into the economy, like, you got a bunch in the bank to
Yeah.
actually help out.
But
Lower your
you know what I
ticket,
think?
for one thing, lower your ticket prices. Like,
Mm.
I guess
But
that's
you-
a suggestion.
And maybe
But-
limit the travels as well, because Taylor's been traveling a lot on her private jet.
Yeah, that's a non-starter. People who can afford to actually fly travel jet, I bet you they would. Like,
Yeah.
people don't care about the environment. It's just they
Oh.
can't afford to actually be a criminal.
Bro, you know how
Stop
much
with that
oh.
private jet stuff. Like, I wouldn't
Imagine-
actually fault her.
Imagine you were going to a new city every day, or maybe every 2 days. You got to travel to a new city. You think you want to go through an airport and ride, even if it is first class? Nobody wants to do that. It's the worst.
Like, Chris and me were actually talking about the other day I was asking regarding the classes for riding an airplane. Like, they got business class, first class, right?
Yeah,
Which is next? Business, economy.
business, I guess. Yeah.
Economy. Then at the end they added another category called "fuck you." Like, like
That's where you got to
This is
sit.
how
That's where you got to
people are
sit by the
flying now.
bathroom.
Now, educate me, the gentleman, because I have never ridden a plane in my life.
Oh,
like
planes
flying
are,
before.
planes
so
are great.
much-
But
flying before was actually pretty luxurious. Now you barely have any leg room,
I don't have any leg room.
right?
I
You
don't
can't even
even think
smoke
there's gonna
inside
be
an
any
airplane.
Lego in the future.
Can't even smoke.
Yeah, back then you can actually smoke inside a sealed container,
The only good
40,000
thing is
feet up there. Like,
the only good thing is you get free drinks on international flights.
yeah,
I
to
get
keep
drunk.
you from noticing the door opening.
I go. Whenever I was flying back and forth from the U.S. to Asia, often, I did it. How many times did I make that trip? 2006. Let's say one. From starting in 2006, I went 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I went 5, 6.
Damn, you got your miles.
Wow.
I probably made this trip about 15 times, man.
Oh.
They should have your poster on a different bulletin board.
Shit sucks.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was, believe it or not, used to a 20-something hour flight.
20 hours something flight. Oh my.
Yeah.
Who does
And
that?
It's non-stop. It's non-stop.
That's why I said
no,
if you
there's
can
stops.
if you can
Oh,
fly
there are
private, you
stops.
would. You wouldn't care about the environment.
Absolutely,
Like, that's
bro.
just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, anyone
Actually, the
who has
one
money-
time that I could really afford first class, I was flying from Korea to here back in
Yeah.
2000. I don't know, probably 2000. I don't know, 11 maybe, 10 or 11. And the first class upgrade was like $600. And I had been in Iraq for the last year and a half, so I had $600 for sure.
Oh.
But the flight is only like 3 hours from Korea to the Philippines.
Mm.
So
Whoa.
my mind was like an extra $200 an hour to ride in the first, it wasn't worth it, but that was the closest I ever came. I almost did it, but I was like, I'm not spending $600 on an upgrade for 3. If it was a $600 upgrade for a 15-hour flight, let's
if you're
go.
gonna be staying in it for a month,
Yeah.
Let's go.
being served first
Yeah.
class, like, okay,
Yeah.
good. For 3
But for
hours.
3 hours, I was like, it was so tempting, though. It was so tempting because, like I said, well, I take that back. I rode first class when we left Iraq, but I rode first class after Iraq because I was on baggage detail,
Oh,
which is a pain. Baggage detail sucks. So you
Yeah.
get first class.
well,
And it's nice. I mean, the seats turn into beds, and I slept all the way home.
yeah.
I
The
guess
reason,
I guess that's good compensation too. I mean, you've been baggage detail, you've been working your ass off on those baggages, and then because you've been working, you're so exhausted. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, the thing is,
that's a good deal.
my rationale was, so the plane is leaving at the same time, whether I'm baggage detail or not. If I'm not baggage detail, I'm probably sitting in a room somewhere waiting for the manifest to be read for me to get on the airplane. I'm just going to be sitting around waiting. If I'm doing baggage detail, it might feel like there wasn't really enough time to get everything done. You know what I mean? Like, time is going to go by much faster because I'm busy and I get first class.
So
It was a no-brainer for me. I was like,
yeah,
baggage detail, let's go. Need volunteers right here.
yeah, yeah. That's a good deal. That's a good bloody deal.
yeah. Well, the reason why I opened this up, guys, is I'm also wondering. Like, I've had this epiphany. Like, when did the entire celebrity thing endorsing politicians actually start? Like, since when did we actually base a candidate's viability on which celebrity actually endorses them? Because a lot of celebrities actually spoke up against this over the past couple of years now. And I know
Wow.
it seems hypocritical of them to actually just do this after Trump's era, but like, in a sense, I think I can pinpoint which part of the U.S. politics actually promoted this type of stuff. I think it's because of the correspondence dinner. I don't even know if even if it was during Reagan's time.
I feel like people freely freely expressing their political point or their political views, but there was a shift, I think, with Obama.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the correspondence dinner.
But I mean, I
Yeah.
think it was people. That was maybe the first time where it was popular to vote, culturally popular to vote for somebody. So everybody, before it's like you don't really
Yeah,
tell people who you
but
voted for. Like
yeah, if
that's
you
your.
think about it, which time and place would these people, these two categories, would actually mingle? I don't think there's any other situation in the U.S. or event that would actually cross pollinate the two, other than a correspondence dinner,
Mm.
where
Yeah, but
these
correspondence dinner has been happening for a long time.
but not to this extent. Like you said, it's true when you said it was during Obama's time. Like Obama was actually treated as a celebrity rather than a
Yeah.
politician because I guess you could argue he was actually so good that he was able to attract both sides of the aisle. S-
Well, I mean, he's just a cool dude. Like people wanted to be close to him.
And Michelle actually helps, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Completely.
he's a hell of a wingman.
But I think that trend is actually dying out right now because
Yeah.
would
I
any
guess
celebrity
it's
want to be
because of
caught dead in the coming
yeah.
correspondence dinner?
Mm.
I think people are. I think after the last, well, after the last 8 years and the anticipation of the forthcoming 4 years,
Yeah.
I think people are really just kind of sick of politics being the front center of fucking everything. Like, if you were a dog catcher in Lubbock, Texas,
Mhm.
and you said something, you supported Trump, you might lose your job. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where America went. Was like your political affiliation could determine how well your family dinner, how good your Thanksgiving is.
Mm.
And I think
Thank
people in general are just kind of over that whole thing. It's like, God damn, we was really fighting over these politicians.
Yeah, remember when I mentioned that the Philippines has been ahead of the US in terms of politics and policies
Hmm.
before, like having the first female president? We are also ahead of you guys when it comes to having our own Trump.
Yeah.
He was
Um.
also a celebrity that turned to politician, which is Joseph Ejercito Estrada.
Oh.
And
I,
he
Yeah.
was the worst one in
yeah.
terms of policies.
Yeah. I
What
mean,
about you had
to
FPJ
be
too,
fair
right?
to yeah, to be fair
FPJ
to
wasn't the
Trump, he
president. He
done
was a
a lot of
candidate. I think I could argue a much better one had he actually won.
Mm.
But that resulted in us with a second EDSA, which is a second people power revolution. So
That puts Gloria Macapagal Arroyo
basically,
in
that's
power.
our peaceful version, at least the first one, of the insurrection back then.
Yeah. And
He
come to
looks like though. He looks like.
We had our share of Trump. So
yeah.
I
we
mean,
were
we
the
had.
first.
I mean, our first was Reagan, I guess.
Oh
But
yeah, of course,
Reagan,
Ronald Reagan. Yeah. He was a movie star back then.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want to go not necessarily
but
presidential, but I mean, you had Schwarzenegger as governor.
yeah,
Oh,
but you have the entire. The problem with that is, in terms of Reagan, you had an entire party that's actually reciting his doctrine and has built
Yeah,
their identity based on the Reagan doctrine.
Reagan was
Ours
pretty good.
doesn't even have that. We're in solidarity that he's just a dumb fuck. So, so our
yeah.
Trump out trumps yours.
Yeah.
But only in the Philippines could you be indicted with corruption, graft and corruption, and yet be voted into a mayoral position afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, we've had pro wrestlers too. You remember Jesse the Body Ventura
Yeah,
became the
Oh,
governor of Minnesota.
yeah, Jesse
yeah.
Ventura.
It's a sad case for him. He never catches a break. Like I remember him actually trying to unionize wrestlers before, and he was actually outed by Hulk Hogan, which was a bitch move
Yeah.
because Hogan
And you
was
know,
actually trying to look out for his money. And going for
yeah.
this one, do you think celebrity endorsements would still carry weight after this?
I don't think so.
They
It's
didn't
not
carry weight.
gonna-
The politician that was endorsed by Hollywood, lost in a landslide.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
Oprah's 0 for 2.
Well, I wouldn't say over two. She was hardcore Obama. She's 2-1, I guess.
two
No,
and one.
Hillary. I'm talking about Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary
Yeah,
and Kamala, yeah.
She was
yeah.
a,
So that's
Beyonce's 0 for 2.
1-2. That's
Taylor
1-2.
Swift's 0 for 2.
I think Obama announced his candidacy on Oprah.
You know, funny thing, a couple of Republicans actually went out of the woodworks and actually mentioned this, and I would agree with them that they might be inclined to actually vote Democrat had Michelle Obama ran.
What the fuck?
She was a secret. She could have been a secret
She
weapon,
was
man.
she was actually the most viable candidate for them, even back in 2016.
But
And I
then
don't know,
again,
just based on principle, she didn't actually have any
I
plans
don't
to go
think
into
I don't
politics.
I don't think her and Barack have any intention of officially being that again, because they're damn near billionaires already. So like, what do you
Yeah,
do?
and
They don't
to
have the
think-
same mentality as Trump, who
and
is
if
a
you
billionaire.
yeah, and if you provide parallels between her role as first lady back then, she's basically the vice president of the U.S. just on her exposure alone.
Yeah, because we know Joe Biden wasn't doing shit.
He's been sleeping, so
even when he was VP, so
yeah. The only time I knew that Joe Biden was actually the vice president was when that Asian comedian was actually making fun of him during one of his tours. That he
Yeah.
he was
well, I
being
guess
roasted
he's
to his face.
vindicated now that he's gonna be out of office in January.
Have you
They
guys seen
said,
that video of Joe Biden wearing a MAGA hat?
yeah,
That was so awesome, right?
That was
Yeah.
a troll move, man.
yeah. But then he
Ever
has to
gave
keep it.
Biden that hat. That was a
When was
freaking-
that? Was that during the election? During the Harris
Yeah,
vote?
that was during this campaign.
Yeah, it was during his own campaign before he was
His own
before-
or Harris's?
It was his, I think.
Yeah, I think it's his own.
Had he already stepped down?
Which? Who?
Either way,
Biden?
before the election.
I don't remember if he had already stepped down or not when he wore
He
that
hasn't yet,
hat.
right?
No, I mean from the nomination.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Had he actually been replaced by Harris? Because if he was, I would
don't
understand that. I figured
I think-
based on how
I think
people
Joe
were
Biden
actually
voted
talking
for
to him, I think he actually stepped down back then.
He voted for Donald Trump. I'm sure of it.
Then there's no doubt. Like, you didn't actually even have the. If he felt that Harris was actually ready, he would have put Harris's name up front and didn't actually go for a re-election, and he would have actually placed someone else as a VP. I wouldn't even think he would actually nominate Tim Walz as a VP, right?
Yeah.
Like the closest VP they could have gotten was who?
Josh Shapiro.
I figured Bernie would actually work.
Yeah, if Bernie was even considered, maybe
Harris-
would have a
A
fighting
Harris
chance.
Bernie ticket would have worked.
Yeah, a Harris Sanders ticket would work.
I don't know why they actually were so hell bent on pushing Harris for the nomination. Maybe it's everything about. This is my understanding when it comes to U.S. politics. It's about getting the funding, right? Whoever can actually get the most money can
All about
actually.
this.
Is it true, Chris?
Yeah.
It's all about
Um,
budgets.
Spot the dinero. The dinero.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're all. I don't know, man. The politicians are not the politicians. The movie stars. They're delusional, man. They don't know. They don't know.
Well, not all. I mean, those who are, those who are backing the blue side of politics. I'm pretty sure there are some who are just quiet and voted for Trump.
I think a lot of people voted for Trump. That was vocally for Kamala. I think secretly they voted for Trump.
Like, how many celebrities does the U.S. have? Can you actually equate that to the more than how many popular votes actually was given to Trump? It's more than half the country, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good sign that more than half the country is actually anti-woke now.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, okay, Trump has his own discrepancies and all that, but at the very least, he's pro common sense.
Yeah,
Mm.
and if we put a parallel to what's happened here in the Philippines, it seems like we got a better handle when it comes to celebrity politician than you guys
Yeah, you might. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a little more experienced, but
on how they actually act in public
yeah.
and how they manage. For
But
one
I just feel
thing,
like,
our celebrity politicians actually go back to college before they actually run.
Yeah, at the very least, they do their
They do their
I don't
research.
wanna say it,
Remember
but
Manny Pacquiao?
oh
He got a degree right before he actually ran for congressman. Was it congressman
no, I
or
think
senator?
he's already a senator when he went to college. That's what I know.
So even before that, I think he went back to college, right? In preparation, like he's
where'd he go
Manny
to college
Pacquiao.
at?
I'm not sure where, but I guess
Check.
a local community college and all that. I don't know. Either way, props to Pacquiao for
Like that's what I'm
uh,
saying. Like qualifications, like whether you're a celebrity or not, at least have a firm grasp of needs a firm grasp of policies when it comes to politics. Like
especially if you're higher up the echelon.
like remember the time when The Rock actually Dwayne Johnson actually mentioned that he wanted to run for office. Remember that,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
Not just him, Matthew
Every-
McConaughey. Who else?
Yeah, there was a bunch of celebrities that's like, I can do this. It's like, yeah, I just want to stay in your lane, brother.
Like public service, they think is actually just a role for them to actually play, and none of these people would actually know what to do in terms of when it comes to nuclear threats, when it comes to freeing occupied cities in other countries. Like diplomacy is actually another thing. Like they made the world of politics so glamorous that Hollywood feels that they can also do it.
Yeah.
And I hope this election proved otherwise. That it's a different animal now.
Yeah.
Especially when you irritate people.
Oh yeah. And I do hope it's also the same for us here in the Philippines because quite honestly, uh the world of politics and the world of the entertainment industry here is absolutely and unfortunately intertwined. If you may notice, Chris, now that you're living here, it's so intertwined that it's just too. I mean, I just find I just find myself jaded with all of it. I really hope that this election across the Pacific would would make
Yeah,
people
so
think twice.
yeah, so
Mm,
Manny Pacquiao graduated from the Philippine Christian University with a master's degree in
ECU.
management, majoring in public administration.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's how you do it. When you're a celebrity going into politics, you learn stuff first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine the learning curve is crazy.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
is.
there's a lot of things involved, and it's not just about being an authority when it comes to politics. Sometimes you have to learn when to fold, which is actually the hardest thing
Right.
because everyone wants to look strong in terms of
Mhm.
their policies, their ideas, getting their voter base. But sometimes you have to count a loss a loss. And if the Democrats actually don't learn from this, counting this loss as a loss, and learn in actually studying what happened over the past 8 years, even during the Biden administration, like it's gonna be the same thing. So hopefully they get off the celebrity train and act like politicians again. Like I can't believe I'm saying this. I want them to be politicians again. Lie to me,
Right.
Yeah.
but
Ooh.
That's it. Lie to me, but at least lie to me with a direction.
I mean,
I don't need to know everything. Just govern well.
yeah, for once, do your job. That's all. And that's not just for politicians out there. It's also for politicians here. I guess it's it's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have another celebrity in office in Manila, right? If
Give me a break.
Isko Moreno, former actor, actually wins the office again.
Cisco Domagoso, for crying out loud.
Hmm. Right. So, and that's the epitome of actually good politics in his term. Like he was actually able to walk out. He was actually brought in again because of the demand of the people.
Yeah. For context, Domagoso ran for president in the 2022 presidential elections. He lost. He's out of office. His vice mayor, Hani Lacuna, is the first became the first female mayor of the city of Manila ever since its
Yeah.
inception, or over 450 years ago.
Let me give you an example of first female in Manila. Things went to shits.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the legacy of the first female mayor in Manila.
Christian, I understand that you and Sarah have that same opinion because she told me that when I was
Sarah
friend.
actually went to college and is often in Manila. I actually was in a dormitory in Manila when I actually went to college. We
I
both
studied-
experienced Manilas in different eras. And we both experienced it pretty differently from when Domagoso actually took office, which actually was the better or the best part that we've seen. Now, when we go to Manila, when we went to Manila rather, and saw everything, it gave us a chance to reminisce about the past because it looked like the past.
Mm.
Maybe it's better than the past, but there are just things that are just the same.
Which is kind of sad because if it's a bit better than the past,
Mhm.
it means it still
Right.
regressed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
hopefully
also
things
studied
get back to
Manila
normal.
too, so I definitely can. I definitely have a horse in this. I have a horse in this thing.
It's gonna be a good thing, I guess, for the U.S. that maybe the second time around is a charm, right? Chris?
Well, I think if the media would just go about it fairly and remove their bias fucking bullshit, then
Do you think they learned their lesson?
be fair.
I hope they would.
Be fair, be truthful, but stop with the 98% negative coverage. Like, and I didn't agree with this if right leaning outlets did the same thing to Biden. I don't think that's fair. It's not. I mean, I could give a shit less about the politician. It's not fair to the American voter when you are the information provider, but you're not giving them unskewed information. That's just unethical. It's immoral.
You know, I
Not
would
just an
I would
unethical
be
and moral. It's also an insult to the
Yeah.
intelligence of the American people.
would
It's a
be-
huge insult.
I would be much more hopeful with that if the media outlets actually go back to their uh, previous model that all news sources should be treated as public service and should be free and non-profit. Just media outlets, let go of your 4% profit from advertisers for this
Yeah.
one, because I think that's what actually what happened when in terms of journalism, when actually things became bad, when they were forced to actually grovel at the feet of advertising just to satisfy shareholders. Like, news should be public service and never be used for profit. That's
Right.
the problem.
It's called the Fifth Estate for a reason.
Yeah, until that actually goes back to the way it was, I don't think
No.
there's gonna be any changes
I think
regarding
it's
the
Fourth
biases.
Estate, not Fifth Estate. Sorry.
Things wouldn't actually be changing. I don't know if it's the same with the local news, right? Is it has it always been for profit, Chris, when it comes to local news?
Yeah, but then I mean you have things like NPR, which is National Public Radio, that's nonprofit.
Yeah, but where
Um,
does it? You can easily tell where NPR actually
yeah,
is leaning, right?
yeah. So
Y-
this all
yes.
begins. I mean, we can go. I think we've maybe dived into this before about like kind of it's almost conspiracy level, the conspiracy theory level stuff. But this hardcore left wing ideology starts in universities.
Mm.
Oh
The,
yeah.
the
Yeah, I would
professors,
agree.
the
It all
professors
starts
are
there.
the professors are teaching this to children. These children are then educated and sent out into the world to become CEOs. They become decision makers.
Yeah,
Oh
Right? This is psyops 101.
yeah,
yeah. Psychological warfare.
Yeah. They indoctrinate the
Just
young children,
yeah.
and then the young children end up making the rules in the future. And now
yeah, uh,
you end up with a 6'4"
yeah.
male competing against females, and you're not allowed to say that's unfair.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
school is usually the breeding ground of these things. I remember when Bill Gates was actually invited. I don't know if it was Yale or Harvard that actually invited him to speak. Like he did specify that I was actually invited to speak at your graduation because they were worried had I spoken at your orientation. Because he wasn't the graduate, right? And he was really successful. Like it would really undervalue education after that. Like I
Right.
that's the reason why any of these tech giants actually, if we're gonna be speaking at colleges like Mark Zuckerberg, I don't know the other education, Elon Musk,
Mhm.
the way they actually skip the line when it comes to the educational part of their success can actually hurt people when it comes to their orientation and
Ah,
destroy their confidence. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be graduating, but after that, where will I be going?
yeah.
Like
I
these
mean,
guys actually didn't finish, and they were
yeah.
ahead of everyone.
Yeah. That's um. If I heard that, or if I,
Yeah, but my take on
that
that
myself,
was
it's unfair. It really is unfair that
goes
these
to show that
guys are even dropouts, and why the hell are they here? Right?
yeah, goes to show that even back then, I think this was 2008, 2009, they firmly believe that college is more indoctrination than orientation.
It is by far.
Oh yeah.
So they know that there's a huge influence during these formative years
Although to be fair,
of a
there
young
are
adult.
yeah. Although to be fair, there are some institutions that do not um, get into this, or they're not in favor of this. They really just wanted to educate people legitimately or authentically, and not go into the indoctrination level. I guess some community colleges, some religious universities, or some religious colleges, but the big league, the Ivy League people, yeah, that's where it all starts. I don't know if Chris would agree with this, but that's where I notice.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of places publicly or officially that's their point, their stance. But what happens, they're not monitoring what's spoken in every classroom. So it really depends on the professors and the administrators and all that stuff. So like the college could, their official stance would be we do not do this. But I mean it's happening. I think it happened. I think it happens in every college. And it's really up to hopefully by the time your children become college age, you've taught them as a parent how to think for themselves,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, I barely even feed them. No, I'm kidding. So, child services,
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I'm good. We're good.
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
alive. Do you think
But yeah, I mean,
after this one, Chris, celebrities would actually get tired of actually meddling in politics. They've eaten a lot of crow over the past
Yeah.
days.
And it's almost cringe at this point, right? When a celebrity's like, I support, it's like, I don't give a shit who you support, bro.
Like they should
Yeah.
change the name of the show, The View, to the like like that's all they've been doing over the past days now, being at each other's throats, and they keep forgetting that they're on the same side.
And the commentary community are having a field day, shitting on The View.
Like,
I've
sorry, not
always called
sorry.
them like, I've always called them like the few because most people don't think the way they do.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's not. They're not the majority at all. Not even close.
Like, sorry,
I'll
not
just get
sorry. The
something
election
off
is
cam.
over. Like,
Yeah, I'll just get something off cam. I'll be back for a few seconds.
yeah, just go. Like The View. What's the
See,
their
I'm back.
counterpart on Fox? The Five.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we keep harping on China regarding knockoffs, but the U.S. still does it.
Yeah. It's
Like,
like, it's quite ironic, to be honest. But you know what?
The View, the Five should have
Yeah.
gone with the 10. At least it's not actually that noticeable.
I like the 5. The only thing I don't really like about the 5 is it should be called the 4 versus 1.
Yeah, it's 4 Republicans versus 1 Democrat. like,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
liberal.
It should be called. Yeah, it shouldn't be called the 5. It should be called the 4v1.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing with Gutfeld, right? It's not all
Uh,
Republicans. It reminds me so
No,
much
Gutfeld
about
is
Bill
usually all
Marshall.
Republican.
It reminds me so much about Bill Marshall back then, politically incorrect. The former.
Yeah.
Like you have a
And-
pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And in the internet space, there's the Young Turks.
But
Anna Kasparian is, I think she's now
yeah,
leaning.
speaking of the Young Turks, they're imploding right now.
Oh my.
Like Cenk and Anna
Yeah.
actually just gave up on the Democrat Party at this point. Like,
The Democrat Party imploded.
and everyone is actually just pointing to that one View clip, which actually did Kamala Harris wrong. Like
Oh boy.
where she completely ignores everything about the Biden administration. Like, we're doing fine. Like nothing to see here. Everything's good. Nothing I would change except his
I-
diapers. Like,
I can compare that to the "This is fine" meme. You know that? You know that?
yeah,
This is fine.
yeah. It sounds like
While
her too.
everything's- And while everything in the background is burning.
The narrator sounds like her too. So,
Goodness gracious me. Anyway, the reason why I went off cam for a bit because I am currently reading this book, 12
Wait.
Rules for Life by Dr. Jordan Peterson. I'm already in Rule 11, so I'm about to finish this. I hope I can finish this before the end of the year. But
Yeah,
I'll
what's some
also-
of your big takeaways?
my big takeaways from this book, yeah, the world needs common sense, and Peterson is giving
that's just
us
common sense.
yeah, not just common sense, but you know, order. The world needs common sense and order because the subtitle for this book is
It's
an antidote to chaos.
it's so
So-
sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad that the book that you bought that's considered a bestseller, its main talking point is actually just common sense.
Well, you know what they say, man. Common sense
Jeez.
ain't so common.
Right. But quite honestly, I bought this book as a way to improve myself. It just so happens that everything that Peterson wrote here is not just it's gonna help you
Please,
do your become better and then some.
please tell me you got the common sense part down. Like, please at least that.
Yeah.
So what are some of your big takeaways though? So far.
My big takeaway is you have to start with yourself. If you want to change the world, if you want to do something that would help the world, you would have to help yourself first. What hits me here is rule
Sounds
number
like
6.
America first, doesn't it?
Maybe. Rule number
If you wanna,
six
if you
states,
want to help the rest of the world.
yeah. Rule number six states, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world.
Set your house on fire.
Set your house on fire. Mm.
Before you set the world on
Maybe,
fire.
maybe, maybe
Jeez.
Dr. Peterson might think about that in his next book. But
For
yeah,
someone that's a doctor, that's pretty much something as a
he's a
veterinarian,
clinical
anyone in your life
psychologist.
would have actually told you.
Yeah,
Like
Well, I mean, that's the thing though. Like, these are all. I think these are all things that when you hear them, you say, "Yeah, of course." But how often do we think this ourselves during the day? You know what I mean? Like when you hear common sense things, it's like, "Oh, of course, that makes." That's why life hacks are so interesting, right? It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, that's great. Why didn't I think of that?"
it shows you a
yeah,
lot about how humanity is actually navigating the world today. Like
yeah,
something as basic as what your dad would have told you when you were a kid is
Should
actually
have told
placed
you,
on
but
a
yeah,
best-selling book.
yeah.
yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be that compelling, but it feels foreign to some, or to
Mm.
a lot.
Do a
Yeah.
lot to
It
society, and
all depends on
if
the
you pay
society.
attention, yeah, if you're paying attention to society, it seems like no one knows these things.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's their lives
Yeah.
that are actually on the line to know things. Even I figured kindergarten teachers would have told kids these things.
You would think,
Don't
but
eat
not.
your crayons. That's not food. Like that's
Yeah,
common sense. Like
Yeah.
but there's still
how?
people that eat crayons.
Like
Hmm.
imagine if the forefathers, whichever country you're from, would have read this book. They would have thought that people eating feces that don't they have common sense?
Well, you could say the same for the Constitution of the United States. Like you read that, and it's like, yeah, this all makes sense. Why do we need to say this? Because if it's
Yeah.
not,
You know what's even sadder about that?
Oh,
When the
okay.
Constitution of the US was actually made, these are 20 something people that wrote that. These are the Gen
yeah,
Z of their generation. Gen Z,
Mhm.
what have you done?
Yeah.
Like
complain about the
it
Constitution.
makes, if you found that out, it makes it hard to actually criticize them of what's
It's hard to
happened
believe these
before.
dudes were like 27 years
20,
old.
22. The youngest I guess
Yeah,
was 22.
yeah. These dudes were babies
Yeah. So
and
they've written an
formed.
entire constitution for an entire country that actually grew up to be a superpower. Like Gen Z,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, yeah,
Let's put it closer to home, okay, Christian, because the revolutionaries that fought here in the Philippines back in the 1890s, in 1897, 1898, their leaders were, let's just say, the age of the millennials right now. Maybe older Gen Zers and younger millennials, but Emilio Aguinaldo was around 27 years old when he was president. And come to think of it, um, we even have a freaking boy general, Gregorio del Pilar, age
Yeah, you.
24 when he fell,
Yeah.
right? So I understand why you're Christian, why you're saying
Uh,
Gen Z,
I
what have
I'm
you done?
you know I'm pissed off right here because that is the generation with so many criticisms regarding the Constitution, the founding fathers, what society was back then. But if you think
Mhm.
about it, that was the most that they could do at that time,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, he only
without any
lived to
help,
like 35.
without help from the internet, without communication. If you have to travel between states, I guess that's the reason why your election was so long, because people
Mhm.
had to travel all over the place.
Mhm.
And if you
And it's
think for a
because of
second,
and it's because of technology.
if
Uh,
you, yeah,
yeah, it's
but if
because of technology that election results are becoming faster. But then again, Chris, you're the American.
The only
Uh,
time you're gonna see a candidate back then, I figured, Chris, in your country, was at the back of the train when they're actually declaring their platforms, or on
yeah,
top of Apple boxes.
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's a completely different world, man. But I mean, the population's also larger. You could reach the majority. There were groups of populations in the U.S.,
Yeah,
right? Now, fucking everywhere you turn, there's somebody standing there with their finger in their nose. Like there's people everywhere.
The finger on the pulse.
You can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody in the United
Yeah,
States.
there we go.
Yeah. It all comes full circle.
Like every
Yeah.
generation has their contribution to society. Like
Mm,
this election is an indictment on that.
yeah.
I
It was a
figured.
landslide.
And it's
If you
also
look
a
at
challenge.
if you look at the state maps, there's a lot of red in every state.
Yeah.
This was a requiem.
And
I think that's the right word.
if we analyze the votes
Zero
regarding
dirt.
the portion of the country, the celebrities. Let's
Mm.
add the celebrities. There's some good ones.
Yeah.
Celebrities and like, common citizens. Regarding the
Mm.
majority, the popular vote that Trump had, that is an indictment of people not necessarily wanting to go back to other eras in the history of U.S. It's not gonna be a bad thing because I figured what they want to go back to, it's a time when people are not in this illogical woke bullshit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And the sad thing about that is it all started with the Gen Z era.
Yeah.
Everything
Right.
that they're actually
Generation
going up
after.
against. That's why I mentioned this, that the founding fathers were in their 20s back then. Every generation actually has a contribution to society. I can even pinpoint every one of them. I can't pinpoint something when it comes to Gen Z. They never created the social media. It was the millennials who actually made it. They were the
We
users
did
of
it.
it.
Yeah. We were the pioneers of social media.
After
I
that,
am a
what?
millennial.
What did they pioneer? Bitching? Questioning everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of well, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but I feel like a lot of some generations just show us what we don't need.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you know, I don't know. That's not really. Well, like the generations that were, doing slavery. Like, come on, man,
Like
we don't
if
need
you're
that shit.
if you're a Gen
don't
Z
need
right now
that.
and watching this, go to the comment section. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Just please,
Mm-hmm.
let's have a conversation. Something you guys are uncomfortable with.
Mhm. Because this millennial right here, I am the youngest in the three of these people, and I understood that I need to be corrected or I would need to be proven wrong. And you know what? That's better. That made me better. And that I guess is something that Gen Z would have to understand. I don't know if you guys would uh, very much agree or not, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, Gen Z,
Yeah.
you still have some time to actually get better. Like this
Mhm.
is a reset for everyone. It's not just gonna be from the generation from the U.S. It's gonna be from all over the world to actually fix what's happening right now. And you don't need to wait for things that are happening now in the states for you guys to actually do something to actually prevent it. Like the anti woke thing hasn't invaded our country that much, and I don't care to actually see it at our front door anytime soon.
And
Mm.
I would actively fight against it, to be honest.
Anyway, yeah, thank
It
you for
seeps in.
joining us. Go
It
ahead.
seeps. It seeps.
It
Yeah.
seeps. That's why it's actually twice scary now because of technology that makes it easier.
Mhm.
It seeps, bro. It seeps into the minds of these TikTok kids. It seeps into
Like
the
brain rot.
education system.
Brain rot is actually
Brain
much easier
rot.
to achieve now.
Good
Yeah.
gracious me.
But yeah,
Anyway, I
Anyway,
guess we've talked too much.
anyway, to those of you that are mad at me right now, to those that aren't, thank you for joining.
Yeah.
We make money from these things. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank
Do
you for
support us.
joining us for another episode of the Paper Straw Podcast. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Follow us on Twitch, subscribe on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, catch the replays on YouTube, and we'll see you again in the next.
yeah.